Do you have a business that you're passionate about? You know it helps people, but it just doesn't translate to sales? Well, it turns out that the problem is not the passion, it's the positioning. Let's tear it down. Today's teardown request comes from David, who has a company called Boss Readers, and they have a product that parents purchase to help their kids learn how to read. Here's what he writes. It's an online membership model. Compared to a reading tutor, it's more effective, it costs less, and it's logistically easier to implement for families. We have a successful model reaching out to local families via schools in Denver, Colorado. However, we're struggling finding parents who want to purchase memberships online. We've been trying Facebook advertising, but we have not seen success yet. What I want to focus on here is your sales page. And I think I know why your training might be doing well locally in Denver, but it's just not translating online. So let's start with the framing. You mentioned professional athlete style training. Okay, let's just pause right there. I know where you're coming from. You're sitting there thinking like, athletes are hardcore, they're elite, they work hard, they get great results. But how many parents really care about athlete style training? I encourage you to think about the problems that parents face instead of what you want them to think about. Think about what it looks like. Put yourself in the mind of a parent whose child is struggling to learn. In fact, I want to go a little further. I want to really twist the knife. Let's do some copy right here on the spot. So what if instead of saying professional athlete style training, we say something like, I understand what it's like for a parent to have a struggling child when it comes to learning how to read. My son struggled to learn how to read while all of his peers seemed to be passing him by. Now I tried everything, but it was almost like as soon as I brought that book out, he was allergic to it. He cried, he pushed it away. And if I promised him something like ice cream, he would do it for about a page or two, and then he would get frustrated and it would all repeat over and over. After a while, buying those books was something that I just stopped doing. You know why? Because I knew that buying the book would lead to more and more fights. And the more and more we fought about reading, the further and further apart my son and I got. I don't want that anymore. I want him to learn how to read. Of course, I want him to enjoy reading, but most of all, I want us to get closer again. And I just don't know how. Okay, that is copy. That is positioning. And notice what is in there and what's not in there. Take a second, think about it. Hit pause on this video. What did you notice from just that simple copy I made up right there? A couple things that I noticed. One, super conversational, right? I'm speaking from the position of the mom or dad. Second, very emotional, okay? I'm talking about my son pulling away from me. These are emotional highs and lows. You'll notice what also wasn't in there, right? I didn't talk about how to do the training. In fact, I didn't talk about any solutions at all. It was straightforward, right? He hates it. I'm frustrated. I've tried everything. I feel guilty. There's a lot of emotion in this. So your video, your sales page, it should all touch on these pain points. And then the best part of this thing is you've already had success doing this in Denver. So what does that look like? Show parents what the possibilities are. Let's pause right here. What do you think are some of the words that are associated with a great outcome, great solutions of helping your child learn how to read? What are those words? Happy kids, enjoying reading, opening up a report card with good grades. Let's take a second and actually try to articulate that in some copy. Now, I would encourage you to pause this right here and try to write a paragraph out loud or on paper. What would your solutions be? And I'll give it a shot here and we can compare. So I might say something like, I was at the end of my wits. I had tried buying books. I had tried hiring tutors. He didn't even want to get in the car when we started going there Wednesdays at 5 p.m. So the books didn't work, the tutors didn't work. And finally, one of my friends told me that she'd been struggling teaching her daughter to read. And they had tried this thing called Boss Readers. And within about 3 months, her daughter was actually enjoying reading. And their new ritual together, mother and daughter, was to sit and the daughter would read a few pages from her favorite book every single night. Now, to me, this sounded amazing, but it almost sounded otherworldly, like it was something that other people have and I had tried everything, it just wasn't possible. But she finally said, you know what, you should try it. I'm gonna fast forward now, it's been 5 months. My son has finished 3 books. He reads to me every night for at least 10 minutes. And the greatest joy that I have had as a parent that I can remember, the other day, he was in his room, he was very quiet. So I peeked through the door and guess what I saw? He was reading, completely engrossed in this book. And he was doing it all on his own. Okay, pause right there. I give myself a B- on that copy. But there was a lot there. What did you notice? You may have noticed there was a turning point. You may have noticed that I was really at the end of my rope. I didn't know where to turn. It wasn't that I was the smartest parent in the world. If I was the smartest parent in the world, I probably wouldn't be here. But we all have vulnerabilities. We all have things we struggle with, whether we're a parent, an individual, it doesn't matter. Everybody needs help. And I was admitting that. Finally, I heard about it from a friend. I was still skeptical, but I tried it. And then I fast forward. Wow, look at the outcome. And that emotion of actually walking past your son or daughter in their room and they're reading quietly to themselves just for their own joy. I mean, what a feeling. These are the kind of feelings that you can be evoking through your copy, through your sales pages, through your videos. People should be on your sales page jumping for a chance to live that kind of life. So what is the difference between what you're doing and what I'm doing? I'm not showing you how to do what you do. I'm showing what you do. That is a huge difference. You'll notice that both in the first piece of copy I wrote and in the second, the problem and the solution, I didn't get into the weeds of how we are going to deliver it. You already know your stuff works, right? You're a business owner, you are successful, but people don't necessarily care about the how first. They just want the results. They don't necessarily want to understand BMI and body fat. They want the six-pack. So figure out what that six-pack is. Figure out what you want to deliver to your customers and why do they want it. It's not enough to simply say they want professional athlete style training. They don't want that. What does that get them? Why do they want it? What will success look like when their son or daughter is happily and successfully reading? That's what you want to put on your sales page. Oh, and one more thing. I almost forgot about Facebook ads. Look, Facebook ads, membership sites, you're getting way ahead of yourself. You're basically starting by saying, I want a car with 7 wheels that can park itself, instead of saying, I need to find a way to get to Central Park by 4 p.m. In other words, don't worry about your business model right now. Focus on understanding your customers and figuring out what they truly want. See, it's one thing to do it in person with your Denver clients, but when you go online, it needs to be really dialed in because you don't have the chance to interact one-on-one. So once you nail that, dial it in, then and only then should you even start to think about models and tactics. And if you need help doing this, we have a course that will show you how to become a very good copywriter called Call to Action, and I would highly encourage you to check it out.